Hello, podcast family. My name is Duncan Masiwa, and welcome to our Farmer Mentor series brought to you by Farmers Inside Track. This is officially the world's best podcast for 2024, as awarded by One IFRA, the global organization for the world's press. Now, in this episode, we explore the story of Petrus Happy Letsitsa, a former financial advisor who swapped banking for commercial farming. Based in Welkom, Happy now farms on about 800 hectares of land, producing crops like maize, sunflower, groundnuts, as well as livestock. Happy shares how he grew his grain production from 250 tons to over 1,000 tons in just 6 years, offering insights into the strategies and innovations behind his commercial farming success. We'll also dive into his soil management and crop rotation practices, the influence of market price forecasting, and his experience working with major industry players such as South African Breweries and Senwes. Listen, whether you are a seasoned farmer or new to agriculture, this episode offers invaluable advice on commercializing your farming venture. Let's have a listen. Happy, welcome to Farmers Inside Track.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me.
You are one of South Africa's top black farmers, and I don't say that lightly because it is definitely the truth, and we'll get to know why exactly later on in the conversation. But let's maybe first start with why the name Happy. Is it because you're always smiling and happy? Where does that come from?
I was born on the Christmas, 25th of December. So it was like a happy Christmas. So everyone knows. in location, I grow up. It's my Lesotho name. Everyone knows the happy. If you say Petrus, they will know who's that Petrus. And then, so happy, that's where happy comes from. I was born in Christmas. So I think my parents were saying happy Christmas. Then they got clear. Then I was born. That's how happy came. The name Happy.
Yeah. I love this story. Absolutely beautiful story. For someone that might not know you, Happy, in the agricultural space, they might not have heard about you. Give us a brief overview of your farming enterprise, what you do, and also maybe a short story of how you got into farming.
Let me start. In 2015, I used to work for one of the big five financial institutions, which I won't mention the name. I was a financial consultant, financial advisor there. And then I was helping these white commercial farmers as well as upcoming emerging black farmers to access the loans, the overdraft and all that. I didn't like farming, to be honest. I just saw it as a day-to work, and then, coming from the background of finance, you're always on the tie and always clean. But I noticed this one day there's a commercial farmer who said I must visit him at his farm in Bezesbron. A white commercial. I visited him because he was my client. And then I started developing the love of this. And then I saw this guy is always on short trousers and then dirty, but hey, he's making it. Then that's where the love of farming developed. Then I approached them. I didn't know where to start. I was at the bank by the time. Then I didn't have chance to apply or do my things rightly. When I got to I took annual leave. Then I gathered information and I heard that there's a Department of Land Reform buying for people in the farms and all that. Then I appealed the forms. I do all the procedures. It took me a long time. I started buying 2 cows. I took it there to my farm. My father was already staying at the farm, at a farm, small farm there. 2 cows. But I started developing this. It was now becoming my dream that one day I want to be a farmer. Then someday I received a call from Land Reform that I must come for the interview. They interviewed me, and then as I was starting to buy small, I was having like 12 now cows and a few things which based upon that I don't have a land, but these guys, I told them that if I get the farm, I will leave my job and then concentrate 100% on the farm, which I did. Interview went well. I got the farm by the name of Nuitredacht. It is about 429 hectares, which arable is 300 and the grazing is 129. Then I went to the farm. That's where it started. I don't know if I can continue with that, where this thing started.
No, you definitely have come a long way from 2 cows, when you started out. But maybe give us a brief overview of how the farming business currently looks like. What do you do? Who are your markets? And then, of course, looking at the scale of your operation.
Yes, now we are growing very well, to be honest, because we are also listing our neighbor farms now. There's a white guy who listed me the 200 hectares. There's a municipality also who gave me 200. So the scale, we are now operating on almost 800 hectares of land. We are a mixed farm, but basically our main thing is crops, but we are doing the livestock as well. But our main concern is crops. So we are planting from different commodities. You name them, mainly maize meal, sunflower, soya, and groundnuts, because the groundnut, that's where our breakthrough came from. So we want to leave the groundnut. So that's how we grown over this years from 2016. We were independent from 2017. From that time, we never looked back. Then we are growing. That's why we found 300 was not enough for us now. So in total, the land we are using is 700 hectares with a target. We are aiming for 1,000, which we are almost there because there's 200 coming this year. We will be on 900. The target is 1,000. Sometimes I differ with other people, which they say to be a fully commercial, you must have a minimum of 1,000 hectares. No, I don't agree with that. You can be a fully commercial even with less hectares.
Most definitely. I remember back in 2022, you had actually mentioned that your goal is to farm on 1,000 hectares. And, look at you a few years later, you are close to actually realizing that dream. It just, shows you and tells you that when you have put your mind on something, you actually follow through, and it's clear in how you operate. You mentioned all the commodities that you focus on and grains being a big part of what you do. I read somewhere, Happy, that you were able to grow from 250 tons to over 1,000 tons of grain production in just 6 years. Is that accurate?
Yes, Grain SA is the one which is measuring those with the. And remember, Grain SA is accurate because it works hand in hand with Senwes. So we don't lie when Grain SA get those figures because it gathered information from all the suppliers of which tons we are taking. So I think it's 2023, we were also promoted from 1,000 to 1,500 tons. So we are doing very good. We were hoping to reach 2,000 tons with Grain SA also being involved there. And then I think they are still busy. But I overheard that we are close to 2,000 tons annually, which we produce. So that's it. So that's a reality. We are producing more than 1,500 tons.
That's so impressive. And, obviously a lot goes into achieving these kinds of numbers. But if you had to point to specific things, Happy, that you would say contributed to this in terms of the strategies that you've implemented on the farm, what are some of those things that you can point to?
Duncan, the first thing which is important, I always tell the farmers when I'm invited everywhere, is a human resource. Farming is a business. Remember, I'm planting now on 800 hectares. I cannot plant on that alone. So basically our workforce, our employees, they are the most important part of growing. So we've got a very good relationship with our employees. I'll say they are the part which plays a very vital role because if they are not hands-on, then we cannot grow. Managing 800 hectares, I cannot be on this land and that land. So I had to delegate some time. So a happy employee can produce a very good result. So that's why I say the first thing is human resource, and the second one will be the planning, and then the third one is always the patience. That's what it goes.
Human resource, planning, and patience, very important.
If you are short-tempered, you won't make it in this industry.
Definitely not.
The fourth one, which I'll say is most important, it comes on top. On my operation, I know we are different in belief. It comes from God because the highest manager is God. You'll have fertilizers, you'll have inputs, you'll have money to plant. But if God is not on your side, then there's a problem. So it's God, human resource, planning, and patience.
Are you an employee of God, or is God an employee of you?
I'm an employee of God, and God is my employer. God foresees that I make his children and the nation to get food. So that's part of my duty.
I love that.
My boss is up there. He's looking.
Yeah.
Even now he's listening to us. Maybe for that, because I'm a believer, because he's always saying, if one or two talks about me, then I'm dead.
Yes.
Maybe he'll give me some increase this year also.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let's quickly talk about your soil management practices. Is there any specific approach that you have when it comes to, your soil management and also just maintaining the health of your soil?
Yes, that's a good question. That's a very important thing when you do farming. Because the health of a soil is very important. Remember, it's where production is coming. So you must maintain it like a car. This needs to be serviced. You don't need to disturb it. You need to rest sometimes. Even a person, after resting, he got that energy. Yeah. Same applies to the soil. After it rests, you'll get more production on it. And then if you put feeds on the soil, soil can take feeds like lime. And lime is something we put on the soil. Lime on the soil, you don't disturb your soil. You do this, what you call CA. You don't disturb your soil a lot because it needs rest also. So it's like you give it a sweet so that it doesn't become a nice word for that. Lime helps it to neutralize the acidity. It doesn't become acidic. Soil is very important. That's the most important part. You can't plant not knowing what kind of soil do you have. You can't plant not knowing what does your soil look like, your health. It's like now you are going for a cross-country marathons and then you have to check your high blood and all that. Even the soil, before you plant, you must know that there's acidity. There's what on this soil I'm going to plant. So soil sampling is the one. You take your soil to the lab, because with our bare eyes, we cannot see, we just see soil. But with the lab, they can show us the acidity and all that, what to put on that soil and what to plant. We go to the marathon knowing exactly what to put there. So definitely, if we did like that, we are going to win.
Let me ask you this, Ndate. How often do you do soil testing?
The scientists, they always say 2 years because they are lazy, but I do soil sampling every year. Because remember, we do the crop rotation. This year, obviously, it won't be the same like last year. So I want to see if that land I put it lime, is that lime working? Is there changes there? Even if I keep that 2 years ago results, I depend on the latest results because, there might be slight changes. So that's why I prefer to do it in every year before planting time, so that I can know which fertilizers to order. Remember, like I did that example of a marathon. Knowing exactly, because you can't put a uniform fertilizer, you say, no, I'll put it on that one. And knowing exactly what to give to that soil, it will help in a long term, that knowing that acidity will handle with the lime and that one and your ends and you know exactly what you are working with.
You mentioned crop rotation. Maybe take us to your crop rotation strategy. What does it look like on your farm?
My crop rotation strategy looks like on the legumes, like most legumes need nitrogen on the soil. Our legumes will be like the beans, the groundnuts and all those. So when I take out the groundnuts, I put maize. Remember, maize needs nitrogen. And then after planting beans, the land which I took the beans out is also the maize. And then where I put it out, sunflower, I'll put the maize. That's how my crop rotation is going.
Happy, I always wonder, how do farmers determine which crops to plant each season? And in your case, how do you determine that? And how does market price forecasting influence your decisions?
You sit down, you do the planning beforehand. You take all the quotations, you check the prices of the fertilizer. Remember, by that time you are having your certificate, your soil sampling certificate. You know exactly that land, I must plant that because this land is having this, so I must plant that. So you do your quotation, and then you check the suffix. You do your forecasting, how much will be the price next year. Suffix will tell you January price will be looking like this. So you take the cost of all the inputs, less the cost of the input, less what you'll get, and then you see, is it profitable? You don't just plant something there on that land without knowing whether it will be profitable you'll get your profit on that land. Because then in order to determine the profit, you have to do the forecasting to get the cost in beforehand. You have to sit with your economist and then just ask him a little questions. How will the sunflower price look like in the next year? And then you check, okay, if I plant my sunflower in October, I'll be able to harvest it in April. Tell me how much will I get on a ton of the sunflower in April? Then you come back on the drawing board, you draw again, you said, okay, this is the cost minus I'm spending this on the fuel, fertilizer, chemicals. This is the profit which I'll make on hectare. So it's profitable to plant it. You plant something which you know exactly that you'll be profitable. Then you go back to your suppliers of fertilizer, having your soil sample certificate. Then you tell them, guys, look, I'm looking for 1.8. Remember, now you know exactly, you did your forecasting. You know exactly how much you are looking for. You tell that guy, listen, I want to make 1.8 on sunflower ton average. How much fertilizer must I put to get a 1.8? Then that guy will say, okay, you put 250 kg. And then you come back, if I put 250 kg on the price which my economist said I will get, then I'll make a breakthrough, then break even, then there will be a profit. Then that's how you determine. So the first important thing is to plan and check your cost, check your suffix. It involves a lot of people, economists, people, guys for fertilizer, they must give you a right talk. If you don't have a harvester, you must check how much it will cost me for harvesting. Then will I make a profit? So is it worth it to plant sunflower, or is it worth it to plant a maize, or is it worth it to plant soya? Then you sit down and check whether I will make a profit. That's where you take it. You don't just plant because sometimes you lose. And you check the soil sample certificate that what did this guy say about if I plant sunflower there, what should I put? Will that soil be suitable for sunflower or maize? Then you check and then you say, okay, they said it's suitable for maize. Let me go for maize. Then you tell the fertilizer guy, listen, with the maize, I'm looking for 6 tons. How much fertilizer will I put? And then you come back on the drawing board again. You check your profit to it.
Sure. That's a lot to take into consideration. I thought I can just take my seeds and plant.
Yeah, traditionally we used to do that. And then unfortunately, when we grow, we don't make profits. That's the thing. Our people, we need to train, to get training. We need to go to the farmer's day. We need to do a lot. It's like a tuck shop. We are used to the tuck shop. You don't just buy stock with 100 rand and then you sell it 90 rand. So you are losing 10 rand already. But your shop will be looking nice with a lot of stock. So you sell 100 rand, you buy 100 rand, you must sell 120 so that you make a profit. So this is a business actually. You must bear in mind that not farming is a business. I always tell the people, if you regard it as a business, then you'll know that you mustn't lose.
Let's talk about your markets, Happy. Some of the markets that you supply. Take us through that, and how were you able to establish those markets?
As clear was on the program run by South African Breweries, which is SAB, we were planting the non-GMO. Because non-GMO, let me tell you, for those who don't know what is non-GMO, the maize which we don't use chemicals because it's human consumption. So they are making beer with the maize. So SAB wanted the non-GMO maize. So we don't put the chemicals. We're having a contract with SAB to give them that. So I did very good with them. I think I was on 4 years with them or 3 years. And then with the market, most market is Senwes here. Also, it's a very good market because you can always do the price fixing. You can say, okay, next year the price will be this, and then I fixed it. I want to get the same price, even if the rent fluctuates or whatever, but I know exactly that I'm going to get that price of after I sell my commodities. So Senwes is my market. It's important as a farmer to have a very good relationship with your market because then they're the one who are paying you after all.
Definitely. You mentioned earlier about, your banking background and how you worked for one of the leading finance institutions. How did your background in banking influence your approach to managing your farm finances? Maybe you can take us through that.
Banking, it helped me a lot. Remember here, I was working on the system. I know when I approach the bank, what do they need? So they need someone who's doing the admin quietly. The commercial farmers, the white farmers, they beat us because their admin is 100%. when they go to the bank, that's where the bank approves them very easy. But we, as black farmers, we struggle to get the finances because our administration side is not good. If we can improve also the administration side. Remember, I know we are from the previously disadvantaged commodities, but you must appoint, delegate some people with the know-how so that every receipt, everything your administration must be up to date. It helped me a lot, my background from the bank, because now the administration is 100%. If I go to the bank, I approach the bank, I know exactly what they are looking for. And then the HR side, now is very difficult. There's a lot of things involved in farming. There's a Department of Labor, to mention a few. If they see some farm has grown something, they pass them that you didn't register your employees. That's what we should do. There's labor, HR is important, administration is important, everything. So now it's not the old traditional that I'll plant with the cows and then we must do it the right way. There's a quietus. These people that are working with dangerous things, if he cuts his finger, he'll claim $1 million from you. So definitely you should do that. So I'll advise farmers to delegate, to appoint people with the know-how. Someone who will say, I'm working with this guy, he's doing my contracts. I'm working with this guy, he's doing my financials. I'm working with this guy, he's doing the quieter stuff. Because someone who can fall on the land, and those people, they can have an effect on your business. So you must do it according to the books. So they must appoint and delegate. The banking institution helped me a lot because I knew that my administration must be up to date, my HR must be up to date, my legal must be up to date. So it's a business. Then you are covered. You can sleep at night because knowing that the HR is fine. And then remember, you can't be an HR, you can't be legal expert and be a farmer. That's why there's a lot of these people who went to school who knows better than us. So we must use the service of them, and then you will see our operation, because they'll ask us, no, here you are not doing the things right. The farmers, we are forfeiting a lot of things because of we don't know the things. Farmers get the rebate at SARS or the diesel. A lot of farmers, they don't know that. So, but knowing this, having someone who is doing your administration, he'll definitely know, okay, you are buying a lot of diesel, you will get a rebate with SARS. SARS will give you a rebate. So at least if you appoint people with the know-how, definitely your business is going to grow.
Listening to your story, it's clear to me that throughout your farming career, you've done a lot of things right. But I want to know, was there anything that you did wrong? One of your biggest mistakes that might have cost you thousands or even millions of rands? Have you had a situation like that, Happy?
Yes, definitely. I had a situation like that. I bought a tractor and then I wanted to hit the ground and plant. I bought fertilizers. That's where the planning comes from.
Yeah.
The planning part comes. I didn't do my planning. I didn't do the soil sample. I planted. I lost a lot of things. I didn't know anything. I thought I know how to plant. I planted my sunflower, came out, and then it was like distances. I didn't do the plant calibration. So it cost me millions. At the end of the day, I was not mining and doing, because sometimes your employees will just keep quiet because they are afraid of you. They think, no, our boss is knowing a lot. So they'll just sit and then it will cost you millions and then you lose. So now I remember that year I lost everything. And then I had to start, even on the mechanical part, when you buy a tractor, get some people, get advice, check. Because remember, these people, they are the 6th generation. We are the 1st generation on this farming thing. So these people, they've been there, their fathers there, they've been there. It's very easy for them. But someone, if he says class is good, then you go and buy class. You don't know what kind of soil do you have. Ask first when you buy that class, because maybe that class cannot work on your land. It can work on better on someone's land. Everything is planning. You sit down, you do the planning. So it cost me a lot not planning and doing the things rightly. I lost a lot. Even on livestock, I used to just see the livestock like that and then thought that I'll take it to the auction and make money. It's not working like that. Everything you have to plan and do according to the books. That's the thing. That's the main recipe for the farming success, is that we should do it according to the books. It's rather you leave it. Don't even start planting if you think you are just going to plant and get a miracle on the land. Won't do. There's no shortcuts. Let me see.
Sure, Happy. Someone's listening to this episode now and they are so inspired. I know I'm definitely inspired. To that farmer that's listening to us right now, what is your number one advice to him or her who is looking to commercialize their farming business?
Remember, now there's a lot of institutions which are helping us to be commercial. That's where the previous thing I said comes in. First will be to plan. You must plan accordingly. This administration must be on point. We are commercial. And then he must learn as much as possible. He must know his stuff. Then if the administration and planning is rightly, then he can approach this big institution. I'm afraid to tell you about the other one. They always say I'm an ambassador of them because I always speak about them. You know that bank which is now helping us?
Yes.
The agricultural bank. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There's land bank. If you are doing the things according to the books, land bank will assist you. Remember, there's a grants there, there's some things. So they want us here as being commercial. Administration is very important because they'll ask you the financials. And then remember, there's no shortcut even to the financials. You can't say somewhere, hey, your kid in metric must just type that you are making a turnover of 2 million. They'll catch you, those guys. They are clever, those guys. They'll catch you because these things come, there's no shortcut. They go through the SARS, they go through the everything, the banks, and you'll see, no. These financials don't correspond. So do the things according to the book and plan and get advice and get neighbors, commercial neighbors. Know from them. So just visit your neighbor and sit there and give him opportunity to learn. Ask him, hey, what are you doing now? I think we are on a level where we should ask. We shouldn't be stubborn not to say, no, I won't ask, I'll do it. We should ask a big commercials, how do you do this? Why are you planting sunflower in October? Then he get you the reasons. Why? This is why I'm planting in October. This is what. And then do accordingly. Learn as much, gather information. So planning, gather information, and then that's a way to get to commercial. Once everything you do it according to the books, everything will just work like a magic. They will click together. You'll go to the bank, you buy a new mechanization, they'll approve it. So you just start to enjoying farming like that. So the planning, know as much as you can, know your soil according to the book. Do that soil testing, do everything according to the book. That's the name of the game, actually.
Thanks for joining us, Happy Letsitsa. Join us again next time when we meet another seasoned steward of the earth, ready to guide the next generation of farmers. Also, don't miss out on the exclusive article covering this episode on www.foodformzansi.co.za. To our amazing audience of farmers and agriculture enthusiasts, thank you for joining us. And remember to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. From me, Duncan Masiwa, our technical producer Megan van der Vent, and the rest of #Team Food for Mzansi, thanks for listening.